everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have a book review for you today. I listened to one that I'm going to talk about today on Libby, and again, check out Libby. I'll have the link in the description. A way to listen to free audiobooks through your local public library, so check them out, please. And it is the second book in the Assistant to the Villain series. This one is entitled Apprentice to the Villain, the second book in Hannah Nicole Maher's series here. And one of my big criticisms of the first book was, sure, it was a sappy office romance, loosely set in a fantasy-style medieval kingdom, but you really didn't get much world building. You didn't get many rules about anything magic, really. It was really just, here's the office dynamics, here's a little bit of a love story, kind of figure it out. So when I came to this book, I was actually impressed. Like in the prologue and first chapter alone, we got more names, locations, history, rules than we got in the entire first book. So I don't know, maybe the editor was like, hey, we need to really beef this up if we're going to continue this series, because just kind of the little sappy office dynamics isn't really much for multiple books moving forward. And I thought she did a good job with it. What sets this book apart is that you were going to expand the plot. So certainly the main crisis, the main conflict in the first book was the villain, Trystan Maverine, against the supposedly benevolent king, King Benedict. And the more we learn about both, the more really blurred the lines become. And that's really a major emphasis I found in this series so far. The bad is not really bad, the good is not really good. So there's sort of this just moral grayness in all of the characters. But what develops in this book is that really Evie takes center stage, and more than just Evie, her family. So there's a lot more lore around her family. There's this sort of ancient prophecy that is uncovered, and the more the team begins to study it out, the more they realize, like, why is Evie and her family so seemingly invested and part of this prophecy? So the more they figure things out, the more that you realize, okay, there's something special about Evie's family. And that continues to develop. Again, there are some new characters that we meet as well. So not only the plot expands and the world expands, but the characters in that world also expand. Some of the new characters that we meet broaden Evie's family. So we meet her brother, Gideon, and he is a defective knight from King Benedict over to the side of the villain, which is an interesting, dynamic as that continues on. We really get a more of a study of her mother. Of course, she's mentioned in the first book, but really we sort of, because her mother is very integral in this prophecy, as you will discover. So we kind of get a character there in Evie's family. What I found very interesting is that Becky, the HR department, we really meet her family. So in part of the step of their trying to piece together this prophecy, it's funny because one of the times they're all talking through where could this be? What could this be? Who could we go to learn more about this? And the villain, Trystan, keeps looking at Becky the whole time because they know where one another came from. So he knows where Becky's past is. You'll find that out as you read. And she keeps looking at him because she knows exactly where that should be. So just sort of reading between the lines, imagining what that office dynamic would be when someone's really eager, this is where we need to go, but we don't know this, or this. And the one person is I kind of know, I know. So we meet her family, and that is an entire portion of the book that's very important for this sort of unfolding prophecy. We meet another one of Evie's family members, though. We meet a cousin, an older cousin that she and Trystan come in contact with. So again, there are some characters. As far as what I enjoyed, what I mentioned, as well as sort of, I liked the coming of age story. So Evie is very much becoming her own individual. In fact, at the very end, she sort of makes a decision about the type of person she's going to be. Now, do I agree necessarily with where we get with our characters? Probably not. But I know, I understand what the author is trying to do here. And so there is some progress with Evie figuring out who she's going to be, who she wants to be, what abilities she has, and actually what she brings to the table. So that was an exciting part of the story. One of the things, though, that was frustrating, and as I was looking through other reviews, this is one of the big things that comes out, like, we continue with this on again, off again relationship. And like, it feels like every other chapter, one of them is making their intention known between Evie and Trystan. Like, one is confessing their feelings and the other doesn't receive it. To turn around again, and then the other one confesses their feelings and the other one doesn't receive it. And part of it is that you have so many point of view chapters, which I don't mind, but because you get both of their points of view frequently, you kind of get like doubled up. It's not like it's just one perspective where you don't really know what, like, we know what both sides is thinking. So it's frustrating because like we know what's happening. That sort of mystery of like, why is she not responding this way? What is she thinking? I just thought that was interesting that she gave us all those answers and still strung us out for the whole book. There's a few scenes where they demonstrate their feelings for one another in different ways. But yeah, like, it's one of those, like, if you would just sit down and talk for like 2 seconds, you probably could come to some type of understanding. So I don't know, like, it's kind of comical. Like halfway through the book, it was just like, I would like laugh every time that I got to like, what is he feeling about me? Because it's like, okay, how long is this going to go on? And it continued the whole book. So we'll see if it continues on into book 3. I don't know. But sort of the major takeaway that I would have is that it grew the story, the plot continued, the stakes got much higher, and I feel like the side characters that were added were good additions to the story. So we'll see where it goes moving forward. How does it end with both of them? Well, without being too many spoilers, Evie very much is passionate about taking the next step of finding out what this prophecy means. The villain, I think, knows where this prophecy is going, and so he is determined to protect her. Now, how he's going to do that drives me crazy. But they sort of both now are separate. Where at the end of the first book, it seemed like, okay, they are going to get together in book 2 and really work together. She brought them apart, and now we'll see book 3 where we go. But I gave it a 3 out of 5. Again, there was nothing really I disliked about it. It was a fine book for what it was. I wouldn't go into this thinking you're going to have an extremely well-developed magic system, an extremely deep lore of world history. This is cozy fantasy romance in the best kind of way. It is a short story. It is a tight story. She tries to bring some depth to it, but just know, like, you're not getting Middle Earth here. Like, this is a very limited story, but a fun one. I did enjoy it. So one of my favorite characters that progressed was actually Blade, the Dragon Master. I call him that. That's kind of what he is. He's more just like the hired stable hand. But to see actually him grow in his competence, I enjoyed that. He's just a very likable character. And actually Rebecca's character, I thought made some good positive steps. So I enjoyed it. I'll continue listening to the series. I mean, it's fun to put on in the background while I'm going about my day. So let me know, though. Have you read it? Of course, it's an extremely popular series. And sometimes I'm curious why, because there are some frustrating elements to it, but it is a fun story. So let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. If you're interested, you can like and Sorry, I don't know why I hold that piece of paper. If you're interested, you can like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll look forward to continue to read, continue to listen to books, and we'll get back together in the next video. So thank you so much.